they've given you the mandate. Yes, you can
stand up. Good morning once again. My name's Albert Msaga from Gazi VTC in Taita Taveta. And what I have here are some of the key challenges and issues and policy recommendation we raise as managers. So I kindly read what we have. The thematic areas of concern. 1, clarification and standardization of courses offered in VTCs. 2, equitable budgeting and allocation of capitation fund to VTCs. 3, access to government disposed vehicles, machineries and equipment for training purposes. 4, timely disbursement of funds for payment of county government staff salaries. Number 2, eh? Oh, I go slowly, thank you. Okay, number 2 is equitable budgeting and allocation of capitation fund to VTCs. Okay, I go to number 3. Okay, it's okay. Number 3 is access to government disposed vehicles, comma, and then machineries and equipment for training purposes. Number 4, eh? Timely disbursement of funds for payment of county government staff salaries. Next, the other one is harmonization of salaries between county and national government technical training personnel. Harmonization of salaries between county and national government technical training personnel. The other one, integration of vocational training centers into the COOPS placement system. Integration of vocational training centers into the COOPS placement system. Then lastly, is reliable internet connectivity and digital infrastructure for effective training and administration. I will also like to read what we have in this document, that we have our vision. Our vision is to strengthen vocational training center as centers of excellence in skills development, innovation, entrepreneurship, employment creation, and national economic transformation. So I'm reading because what I've read, the challenges, they will be better if they are looked upon, so that our vision, what I've read, is being achieved. And then our expectation, addressing these challenges will enhance the quality of technical and vocational education and training, in bracket TVET, increase enrollment, improve training outcome, promote equity, and equip young people with relevant skills for employment, self-reliance, and sustainable development. In quotes, empowering youths through skills, innovation, and opportunity. Thank you. So I'd like to, maybe I can.
You did not, did you give us lessons learned?
Lesson learned.
From probably the previous audit reports and probably from discussions yesterday, or from just among us, our peers.
You are saying lesson learned?
Yes.
On the previous audit.
Yeah, we have, actually we had disbursed this audit reports earlier. So today, this particular function was just to disseminate and have a common position. But we had sent them earlier. Did we have any lessons learned from those reports or what we discussed yesterday in towards achieving quality? Yes.
Yeah, thank you. On that note, maybe I'll talk on my side, that is particularly the VTC where I'm coming from.
Okay.
Because I think what you're saying from other members, that is my colleagues, maybe they can add from what I'll say. So, first, the training which is still undergoing. I think to my side, there's a lot which I have to work on. Because like you have just said in the morning, on maybe infrastructure, leadership, those areas, I have to work on it. So that's why I'm saying maybe the audit report on, particularly for Gazi, there are some areas which I have to work hard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can react to his presentation.
Maybe we still give more managers opportunity to share the experience. And this is Stakeholders Forum. And in Kenya, we have 3 official languages. We have English, Kiswahili, and sign language. That's why you can see we are signing there. So ningependekeza washikadau wawe huru kutumia lugha ambaye wako wanaweza kuongea mambo iwatoke kwa roho. Ndio kuna wakati Mandela once said, if you want to speak to the head, you speak in English. When you want to speak to the heart, you speak in mother tongue. That's what Mandela said. So tuwe huru ndio tuweze kuelewa matatizo yanayowakumba katika vyuo vyetu. Sababu hiyo ndio maana tumekuja hapa. So kama kuna managers pia ambao wangependa kuongezea, nasema hivyo sababu tulikuwa nao pamoja katika chuo moja na walitoa hoja nyingi sana na sijasikia hizo hoja hapa. Manager alikuwa amesema hata anakonda. Na leo naona ametulia ni kama so naomba tukaweze kuchangia. Asante.
Thank you. I can see.
Hi, hamjambo. My name is David Walicha from Kidaya VTC. Point ya kwanza. Policies. Kuna this thing we call ECD, tunakuja primary, Then we go up to secondary ambao kuna CBE. Tukimalizia pale hakuna line ya kuonesha kwamba examinations zile ambazo zinafanywa ni zipi. Utakuta kuna NITA, we have artisan, we have craft, we have sidui exams zingine ambazo hazijakuwa certified by maybe a certain authority. Then another thing, universities and maybe tertiary college wameanza kufungua vocational pale ndani. Sasa sisi tuna wasiwasi watu wa vocational. Je, kama university watachukua nafasi ya vocational, hizi vocational inaonekana zitakufa, because wao wana line pale, wanapata capitation kutoka kwa KUSSIP na HELB, but a person in a vocational training, he cannot access, haizi pata what we call either HELB or something from maybe KUSSIP. So our prayer is kwamba hizi university and tertiary college kama hii CIT watuachie hizi course za chini ziwe katika vocational training, zisipelekwe pale katika hizi colleges zingine, na kuwe kuna line kwamba huyu mtu ambaye amepata either it is E ama ni mtu wa class 8 akubaliwe kuingia kwa vocational, bali si kwa hizi tertiary. Then our next prayer ni mambo ya capitation. Tulielezwa jana kwamba capitation inakuja ndio, but inapitia kwa governors, kwa magavana, na magavana tunaona wamezuia hizi pesa. Sasa hapo hatujui sisi kama wale watu ambao tuko pale chini tutatokezea na njia gani ili hizi pesa ziweze kufikia yule mwanafunzi, kwa sababu hapo kutakuwa kuna haki. Huyu mwanafunzi wa vocational ni kama ambaye ameonewa, amesaulika. Because right now a person in a primary school inajulikana kwamba is getting around 1,000 and something. Wa secondary it is around 22,000. Na tunaambiwa wa vocational anataka napate 15,000. But 15,000 hatuzioni. So it is maybe TVET watengeneze maybe another njia nyingine ya kuhakikisha kwamba hizi pesa zitatufikia pale chini. Then tukija kwa registration ya our trainers, tunaomba maybe TVET kwa wakati mwingine kuna wale ambao wana upgrade. Tukija kama ni course iko pale kwa shule na maybe a trainer ameenda for upgrading, angalau apatiwe grace period maybe ya 2 years ili ya upgrade. For those few remarks, I'm saying thank you.
Asante sana. Jina ilikuwa nani?
David Walicha.
David Walicha. Kabla uketi, ningependa nikupate vizuri. Kuna mahali ulitaja CIT. CIT ni penye tuko. Na akasema pia nyinyi TVET, nataka wakuu wa hizi shule za TVET, kati principals musikie hii. Managers wa VTC wanasema pia nyinyi mnachukua wanafunzi wao. Wanasema level 3 isikue kwa TVET. Na pia university isikue na TVET institution. Hivyo ndio wanasema. Sasa wakati nyinyi pia mtakuwa mnapeana presentation yenu, nitapenda kusikia pendekezo lenyu. Sababu wanasema level 3 ambaye ni grade test 1, 2 and 3 ni yao.
Like right now, the Taita Taveta University. This year wameanzisha another sub-kitengo pale ndani ya vocational. Na wana target hizi pesa kutoka kwa KUSSIP na HELB. Surely, sisi hatuna hizi pesa ndogo ndogo. Tunataka watu wachie ili enrollment, angalau that enrollment iwe juu na tuweze kupata funds za kurun those institutions.
Hoja imesikika.
Sawa,
Asante. Peana mic pale.
Okay, nataka niongeze kitu kidogo kuhusu vile huyu ameongea, kwa sababu amesema ya kwamba kuna hawa wa level 3 wanachukuliwa mpaka university, lakini pale ni kama wanapewa mpaka help. Lakini upande huu wakiingia hata wapewi chochote. So utakuta hawa wanafunzi wakifika pale wakiona ya kwamba mmeenda marketing na hawa wengine, wanaenda speed kwa hizi shule zingine kwa sababu watapewa help na hizo pesa zingine. So hiyo request ndio maana tulikuwa tuna request ya kwamba kama the same can apply even to VTCs, yani hata VTCs wapewe assess help, ili wale wanafunzi wanaona ya kwamba upande ule watapata help, ndio wanaenda mbio wakute hiyo help tena iko hapa VTC ili wakuje tena. Asanteni.
Good morning. Let me go to the up there so that TVETA can hear me properly and see me. Good morning once again. I'm Mr. Okumu, a TVET trainer. I have several challenges which we are facing in our vocational training centers, and I hope TVET will note them. The first one.
Sorry, just 1 minute. He had already had quite a number of challenges. I don't know whether you presented as a group or you are having different.
As a group, I'm adding.
You are adding, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Go ahead.
We have a challenge of aligning our training with the labor market. You'll find that our graduates, when they complete, if they go to the labor market, they are absolute, they are irrelevant. So we have a challenge of aligning our training with the job market outside there in the industry. The second point, the training itself. Because we have the absolute tools and equipment. Absolute tools and equipment. The old ones. But if they go to the market, they find modern equipment, modern tools and equipment, which they cannot use. The second point, we also have inadequate instructional material. And of course, this is due to maybe there is no capitation or there is very little capitation. That's the funding. So that contributes to inadequate instructional material. That one is a big challenge. How will you train a trainee without enough instructional material? The third one, we have funding constraints in our vocational training centers. If we start with the internal constraint, that is poor payment of school fees. Most of our trainees come from poor background. They are unable to raise fees. So we have that challenge of funding constraints. The fourth one, we have poor infrastructure and equipment. We have old dilapidated buildings, lacking basic amenities like modern workshops, modern tools and equipment. The next one, we also have a challenge of digital infrastructure. remember, after the CBC trainees will be now coming to our vocational training centers, and they are used to digital material or digital equipment. We have a challenge in our vocational training centers concerning digital equipment or digital material. The next one, staffing and training deficiencies. We have a challenge of qualified TVET trainers in our vocational training center. That one is a challenge. Because we were told a minimum qualification for a TVET trainer should have a craft certificate by NEC or a level 5 certificate by SIDAC or a master craft 3 certificate. So that one is a challenge in our vocational training centers. And if you read the reports that TVETA wrote, that one is also captured there. The next one, we have a challenge of trainees enrollment, and that one has already been said. Most of trainees prefer going to tertiary institution like this one. If TTNP can stop recruiting trainees in level 3 and level 4, then definitely vocational training centers will get those trainees. So that one is a big challenge of low and trainees enrollment. The next one, societal and learners-based factors. That's negative attitude. We have a challenge of the society having a negative attitude towards vocational training centers. They think that failures ndio wanaenda kwa vocational training center. Then those who have passed well, they go to tertiary colleges and universities. That's a negative perception from the society. That one is a challenge to us as vocational training centers. Next one, we have weak industry linkages. That one is a challenge. We are not linked up directly to the industry, so that when we train our trainees, they are directly absorbed the industry. That linkage is not there, or if it is there, it is very poor. We need to have a direct linkage to the industries. That one is a challenge. The next one, we have inadequate boarding facilities in our vocational training center, inadequate boarding facilities. Of course, now that one will contribute to low enrollment. Some trainees may come from far and they want to board, but we have inadequate boarding facilities. That's a big challenge. Then the next one, unemployability of graduates due to poor training, quality training. Unemployability of our graduates from vocational training centers, they are not employed. Why? Because of poor quality training. That one is a big challenge. Then the last one is high dropout rates. That is, they come, they register, they start training, then along the way they start dropping one by one. Then by the end of the year, the dropout is very high. That one is a big challenge. Thank you very much. As I said, I'm Mr. Okumu, a trainer in a vocational training center. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You said you come from which college?
I come from Kigombo Vocational Training
in
Center.
Taita Taveta.
Yes, sir.
Is there anybody from Tana River? Tana River. Mr. Yoko, where are you? He's not come. Maybe you could have shared with us what they do differently. Because probably the challenges that he's mentioning may to some extent, be applicable to some counties. And some counties have made deliberate efforts to push the agenda of vocational training to the next level. Can you believe that in Kisumu we have vocational training centers that are having enrollment of 1,500 students? 1,500 students enrollment capacity. And a good number of them, nobody pays fees. The government pays for them fees, are employed qualified instructors. And again, it talks about quality training. In our report, we had also indicated that we have not even attempted to get the current curriculum. Some of us are training with the old curriculum that have yellow color. That is in our report. If you look at our report, we have indicated that a number of us are not even aware that NITA has revised their curriculum from time to time. They're using the notes that they used to use when they were in their training, in the same vocational training centers. But then again, I just want to urge us that when it comes to the vocational training, the facilities you're talking about in terms of accommodation. Just next door here, there's a college. I've been here in this region for a while. Just after, on your way to Voi, to the border point, it's called what? To Taveta. There's a college very close that has accommodation that nobody is inside it. Modern accommodation. Two twin dormitories. And nobody is inside. Wait, isn't it what? Yes, I know the place. Yeah, it's called Cecilia. Nobody is inside. Is that true? Am I wrong? I'm lying. Is that true? That is true, right? Yeah, so I know we have those challenges. I would have wished to see what happens in Tana River. We could have shared with us what they do differently. And probably Lamu. Lamu also attempted to reduce the number of institutions. Actually, they merged and closed quite a number. They merged them. There are very few, and they're managing them very well. Trans Nzoia thinks they're also doing something different. He's going to share with us what they do there. So some of these things are particular cases, case by case. Some are doing very well. In terms of curriculum, I want to urge us, in Kisumu, what they are doing, I just want to share with you what they do. In Kisumu County, they have living out NITA programs because NITA does not give us progression to the next level. They are now adopting the TVET level 3, level 4, that is targeting Form 4s. So when they finish, they can go to another college that is nearby. So they are running away from NITA, taking the current TVET programs. Are we together? So it is us again to redefine how we want to train. We want to continue training with the old curriculum, then definitely the employability will still face us. We are not going to change that. Yes, any other reaction?
We can triangulate that now by listening to the county directors from the county, because now they manage these vocational training centers. And they can do it together with the chief officers and the CECM because it's in the same, the same subsector, Gatuzi. So we can also listen to them. Omwan, welcome. This is the county director, Trans Nzoia. That's my home county.
Okay, good morning. My name is Eliud Lusweti. I'm the director in charge of vocational training, Trans Nzoia. I'm also the chair of the caucus of directors. I was supposed to have been here yesterday, but there were some issues that made me to be late, so I arrived this morning. I was just worried that when you are doing the recap, if you come to me, I was wondering what I was going to say, but all the same I had something to say that at least would have merged. Yeah, otherwise I want to thank the TVET Authority for the report that they've just launched. And from that, of course, we must have learned that the TVETA Authority is just a few meters away from us, and that anytime we want them to be able to assist us in one way or another, they are always available, and they are always coming into our institutions, and they are doing a great job. So let us not die on our own. The TVETA Authority is there, and we appreciate you for the works that you are doing. At least that is something you should learn. On the issue of challenges, I think we have spoken about this time and again. I'm going to repeat some of the things that they have mentioned here, but I'll go a little bit deeper because they are managers and I'm the director. So I should know something slightly more than at least what they have given. One is on the issue of policy that has been mentioned. You realize that without a policy, there is little you can be able to do. Without a policy, even funding cannot be possible. Now, a policy in terms of vocational training at the county level, the policies are not there. And if they are, then they are fragmented. Each county has its own policy that is not related in any way to the other, as much as we're coming from different environments. But the fact that we have no harmonized policy on the VTCs, and especially capitation, that remains a very, very big challenge to the counties. I know that the CECs have been given the responsibility to formulate the policies. I want to believe that we have CECs here. And if they are there, in counties that there is no funding taking place, then chances are that there is no any policy there. And if we have been in an office for 1 or 2 or 3 years, but we do not have a policy to manage what we are supposed to be doing as our mandate, then we have a problem. And that's why most of the institutions are not doing well, just because of the lack of the policy. And I'm going to blame this on 2 entities. One, I'll blame it on my own bosses, that is the CECs. They are not helping us develop those particular policies, but at the same time, we understand and see the role of the TVET. You're doing a very good job. But when it comes to the issue of funding, even if you have no funds to support the vocational training centers because it's a function of the county government, then just assist initiate a policy formulation for the county governments. Because you are not doing that. On the other areas, you are doing very well. When it comes to funding, you have always been skeptical. You don't want to talk about that. You have always told us it is a function of the county government. Yes, it is true. Can we have a meeting between the CECs and the TVET Authority and all other relevant entities to sit down and have a look at a policy that is meant to run our vocational training centers? Because you find that TVETA has its own, the Ministry of Education has its own. Each one is not talking to each other about a policy on vocational training. And if it's there, then they are different from each other. And so we are requesting at that upper level, the TVET Authority, the COG Secretariat, and all other entities, let us sit down and develop a harmonized and standard policy that will manage funding of our vocational training centers in Kenya, as much as it is devolved. There are youth there, they are human beings, they have a right to education. We cannot discriminate them just because they are at the devolved point. you're talking about TVET institutions getting help, loans, to support those students that are in the vocational training, higher learning TVET institutions. But when you talk about vocational training, it's something that does not exist. But whom are we discriminating? We are discriminating that child. We are not punishing the county. We are not punishing the directors. We are punishing that particular youth that has enrolled in a vocational training center by denying them a fund. And that is the issue of the policy. Let us take this issue of the policy very seriously without blame games. Because when it comes to policy now, it is just blame games. And it is unfair. So that's a challenge that I think we need to put our heads together. Let us not just leave it to our counties alone. And one thing I've realized is even our able CECs and CEOs, most of them are in an office within a very short time. It's there within a very short time and is moved to another department. Before he or she realizes what he's supposed to do, is moved to another department. Before he realizes what he's supposed to do, is moved to another department. When will this particular person develop a policy for that particular area that he has been given to do? It is not possible. And I think they are here. We can be able to share. The issue of conditional grant, allow me to revisit that again. It is true that the conditional grant was given back, or rather the governors demanded that the conditional grant go to the counties. And indeed, it is true, the counties are receiving conditional grants for vocational training centers. It is in black and white. Unfortunately, when they received this conditional grant, they decided to reallocate it to other departments and disregarded the vocational training centers. And the CECs who are here, and the chief officers who are here, counties are receiving funds for vocational training. But when the funds get there, they are given to other departments in disregard of the vocational training. Yet we are the ones that are supposed to protect those youth that are within those vocational training centers. So we have a role to play as far as ensuring that the fund that was meant for vocational training centers is returned back to where it belongs. Not coming back to the national government, but giving back the money that was meant for the youth to be able to get their education. We are being unfair. We are mistreating those institutions. We are mistreating those particular youth. We are robbing them on what is their right by refusing or intentionally diverting the funds meant for them to other departments. And this one will not sleep until we get it done. It was well advised that when funds get to the to the counties, set aside the funds for vocational training centers. Unfortunately, that has been ignored. A county will decide to give funds this year. The next year, they will remove it. They will even allocate a few months later, during supplementary, they sweep it away. It is unfair, totally unfair. And if we are listening, then let's listen. We cannot rob what belongs to the youth who enter vocational training centers by punishing them. You walk into a vocational training center and you are shocked. We're talking about infrastructure. You walk into a vocational training center. When I came in here, there's a very nice gate here. When you come in, you get at the gate and you say, yes, I've gotten into that institution. Most of our vocational training centers are desperate. There is no gate. There is no fence. The buildings are dead. It's like a cemetery. And we expect youth to go and sit there and learn. Doing what? So the infrastructure in the vocational training centers is a total mess and an embarrassment to the people of this country. And we must wake up to the reality that youth that join those particular institutions, yes, they were unfortunate. They could not go to any better institution, but they deserve a better infrastructure. They have just mentioned about a very good infrastructure here. I don't know, you said some of these institutions could be the infrastructure could be very good. But when you walk inside, you find the equipment is either not there, or it is there and outdated, or the teachers, the teachers who are there are volunteers. Volunteers in a very good building. Very nice building. The county has refused to employ trainers because they think there is no fund. And that's why you will walk into that building, very nice one outside, but inside, there is nothing. I mean, why should I go there? Why should I take my child to a place that is just empty, blank like that? I have no reason. I will take my child to the TVC, where the infrastructure is good, where there is help loans, where there are adequate trainers, where there are good equipment, getting equipment from Canada. Why can't we have equipment from Canada to all our vocational training centers in Kenya? Who said that if we brought those equipment there, the youth will not come there? They will come there. The infrastructure in our vocational training is a total mess. To an extent that some of our leaders, even our governors, and even CECs have never walked into that institution to just see what exactly is it. They only hear from outside. And they don't want to even associate themselves with the structure in which they are leaders. History will judge us very harshly. So the infrastructure is bad. It demoralizes. I don't know the words to use, but I'm sure you're getting my point. The scheme of service, again, is a challenge. I know of one county, I don't want to mention which one, where there is grade 1 and grade 2 and grade 3. And usually grade 3 is supposed to be the lowest, then grade 2, and then grade 1, that level 3 thing. And I know of a county where they advertised to employ instructors. And when that time came, the director who was there by then was swept away, and they employed fellows of grade 3 thinking that they were higher than grade 1. A total disaster and lack of understanding by some of our people, the scheme of service. And so we are saying, isn't it possible to harmonize the scheme of service? Isn't it possible for the necessary entities to sit together at the top, together with the counties, and harmonize a scheme of service for all of us? So that even the trainers that are in the vocational training centers can walk into the National Polytechnics and teach. Or even the ones in National can walk into the vocation and teach. Isn't it possible to have a harmonized scheme of service? And the people who understand this trait, we must help this particular sector. It pains me. It takes a lot of time for one to specialize in an area. I'm a specialist in mechanical engineering. I have taken almost 15 to 20 years specializing in mechanical. And I'm a director in Trans Nzoia, for example. And then I'm given my boss who has specialized in early childhood. And just say, no, at this level, anyone can do anything. At this level, anyone can just work. We can just work. How? Then why do people specialize? Why do people specialize? Why should I spend 10, 15 years specializing in a particular area for somebody else to come and just take it very easily like that and walk with it away? And that's how we have messed up those particular centers. I don't want to go further on that because it's a dangerous area. So I'm saying the scheme of service. Just like we need to be assisted on the capitation policy, let us also be assisted on the issue of the scheme of service. Let us not throw it to the respective counties alone. It is not fair. The calendar of events. It's important for the CEC in Trans Nzoia to know what is going on in Trans Nzoia, and maybe also know what's going on in Bungoma, and maybe also know what's going on in Busia. So that when we are doing some activities at this level, we know that at some point we are going to meet at the national level or at whatever level, huko juu. Our watoto wanataka wa move from down there when it comes to things like sports, mpaka huko juu. Do you know what happens with the counties? Each county has its own calendar of events. And it just starts from the ward level and it ends at the county and doesn't go beyond. Unless we squeeze ourselves on the program of the TVET at the higher learning institution. Isn't it possible that we can be assisted to have a calendar of events that is uniform? I'm almost finishing. When it comes to the instructors that teach in vocational training centers, most of the counties have not employed. And they will tell you there is no budget. There is no budget. And so you find we have people whom we call volunteers working into vocational training. So who is a volunteer? What is a volunteer supposed to do there? If there are no any funds, why should that person sit? Mtu anatoka nyumbani asubuhi, atanakuja kuvolunteer. He has a family, he has children, he has everything. Akirudi nyumbani, is meeting the wife is very harsh. Ulitoka asubuhi ulienda, hii mambo ya volunteering. We have volunteers in our vocational training centers because there is no budget to employ our trainers. And we are saying, we know your role as the TVETA authority, but there's a way you can initiate something to help us make our bosses also understand. Otherwise, it's getting to a point where we are now getting into engagement. We are now fighting again. It's becoming personal. We're moving away from real issues and becoming personal at the county level, and it's very dangerous. There is so much politics at the county, so much politics in our vocational training centers. An MCA will move into a village where there is a burial, funeral going on, and then he announces that watoto waende kwa hiyo polytechnic kusoma free. They use it free. Watoto waende kusoma? What is free? When you say free, what really do you mean? And maybe wametumana 100, there is a county that disperses money to vocational training centers, 100,000 shillings a year. It doesn't matter how many students. 100,000 shillings a year. And this county has over 50 institutions. 100,000. And he moves into a funeral in the village and says, kuna pesa nimepeleka kwa hii institution, pesa mingi sana. Watoto, and then what? And then you find almost 300 youth coming into a vocational training center that has no gate, has no fence, has nothing, has no trainers, no nothing. And they start creating commotion. There is commotion in our vocational training centers because of politics. But we will try to see how that can be done. And then the issue of universities taking those fellows from Standard 8, it's because they are looking for funds. It's not just because they want to train those youth, really. Otherwise, why would a youth, why would a university enroll as Standard 6 dropout when you know very well there is a vocational training center that can as well do that, unless you are interested in getting the funds at the expense of the quality training of that young man. Isn't it possible that we can harmonize the entry levels, just like they have mentioned, so that we can have, doesn't it make sense that we have those fellows that go up to level 3? Doesn't it make sense that they start from vocational training center, so that we can also make these institutions relevant? And anyway, they are not going to die away any soon, however desperate they are. But I think it's possible that can be done. We were having a meeting sometimes last week in Mombasa with the COG. And I don't know whether the TVETA were invited on green skilling. Mary was there. When we have the TVETA invite COG for meetings to come and deliberate on these important matters, I'm sure the CECs are here and the COs are here. Most of them, when the TVETA invite the COG secretariat to come, they don't come. Maybe they have come today, thank God. They don't come. And other entities, when they invite others, others don't come. And others, we invite, they don't work together. That thing is demoralizing our efforts and communication levels to the counties. And at times they have had to blame the TVETA authority kwamba wanakuja tu kwa institutions bila kutuambia. But I think the TVETA are doing a very good job. They come to my place, they report to my office, I take them to my CEO, we go to the CEC, sometimes we end up to the governor, and we do a very good job. But there is a breakdown in communication between the office of the PS, the Ministry of Education, the TVETA, CIRAC, the CO. Somewhere there is something wrong that needs to be done. If these entities can sit together and have a conversation about vocational training, the better. But we are running away from that, and it is not a good thing. I think the issue of sustainability. Students in vocational training are not they don't stay. They work in the first month. Maybe you request for funds. Funds come in the 5th month when all of them have disappeared and the new ones have come. Help us deal with this situation. Because you give an enrollment of 100 students in January, and then you are given funds in June, when all those, and why would they stay there anyway? Doing what? No trainers, no materials, no nothing. Doing what? Playing games. Even balls are not there to play. So by the time the funds come for the number of students you submitted, 100, all those students have disappeared. And then others have come in. And then they come and they want to look at the name of the student who you had forwarded. That student is not there. Our managers are in trouble. Help us. Yeah, help us. How do you deal with this disparity in terms of enrollment? And students come at any time of the year. In January we are enrolling, in February we are enrolling, in March we are enrolling, except April, in May we are enrolling. And we are enrolling in Standard 8 and Form 4 and sometimes these days even universities to sit in the same classroom. And we pretend that things should be okay at the vocational training levels. Something must be done. And most of the policies, matters to do with policies, the national government. However much we push to the counties, the national government policies, we need to be assisted. It is something that is very difficult for us. I think I'll want to stop there, and because I came late, maybe something else I might have left out. My colleagues are here, maybe they can mention, and then from there we can either you can ask questions or we can stop there. Yes, my brother.
My name is Raphael Chola, Director, Taita Taveta County VTCs. There's a point which I want to add about the scheme of service. In the financial year 2017-2018, we developed a scheme of service at the COG. We are selected, some counties who are selected about the county directors. We came up with a draft which was presented before the Council of Governors. Majority of the governors said that they had no funds or budget to employ all the VTC instructors. Now what I'm asking, I'm appealing to the stakeholders and to TVETA, they assist us so that we can have a meeting with the Council of Governors, those who belong to the Committee of Education, so that maybe from there we can fast track that scheme of service which is lying idle at the COG.
Oh. Okay. Okay, anything else? Yes, my sister.
I think this has become, I think when we reach the period maybe for elections, there are a number of requests that some institutions need to be upgraded to higher institutions, the vocational training centers. I think there is guidelines from the Ministry of Education on establishment of the TTIs, TVCs, and the National Polytechnics, and the vocational training centers. I want to say that the VTCs have been devolved to the counties. There is the intergovernmental relations, and there are guidelines there. So we are suffering, and maybe some of the principals are very demotivated. They are working very hard to ensure their institutions, at least they are good for our youths. But after some time, you realize that maybe there are requests that they need to be upgraded. So we need also protection. Those youths need to go to nice places so that at least they can learn skills. Thank you.
Okay, so as I finish, thank you so much. This issue of the scheme of service, the scheme of service are already there, but they have never been harmonized. Just like capitation policy, it is there. It has not been harmonized, and we're looking for that harmonization. The issue of exams in our vocational training centers. Because our youth come from very poor families, most of the youth that come to those institutions they come from very poor backgrounds. We are training them, but when it comes to the examinations, they are not able to enroll for those exams. The exams have become too expensive for our youth that are training in our vocational training center, including the CBET curriculum. It's a very nice curriculum, but the exam fee is a tall order for most of our vocational training centers. Maybe we may be guided on that. And then I've just mentioned that sometimes we ask our instructors in vocational training centers to be very innovative, to be creative. They are not creative at all. That's why youth come in and go. I mean, doesn't creativity and innovation also have an aspect of funding in it? Or it doesn't have to be there? Our fellows must just be creative to have our institutions with full students, even if the structure is bad. Again, that's something that you can help. Now, finally, we need a meeting with the TVETA Authority and the CECs, all of them, and even the CEOs, because we have never met. We meet separately, and when we meet, we keep pointing fingers at each other. Can it be possible that we meet and look at these things face to face? I don't know how many of our bosses are here today, but most cases, I think the program is a bit tight for them. Out of 47, you'll find 5. Or in some meetings, none. But we cannot blame them because their schedule is a bit tight. But is it possible that we can have a meeting with our bosses so that we can be able to also finalize? To finish, my boss, I think, is supporting me well in the county of Trans Nzoia. Because when we sat down with him on the table, face to face, and critically analyzed this thing about VCCs, he was very disappointed. He was very, very disappointed. And when we were getting 7 million shillings for 32 vocational training centers, and we went to calculate the amount, we found that was just about 1,000 shillings or thereabout per trainee per year. What can you do with 1,000 shillings to train a TVET student? And he said that was nonsense. He has supported vocational training in Trans Nzoia by enhancing the funding from that 7 million. The next financial year, we are moving to 65 million. From 7 to 65 million. And we have had 32 vocational training centers. The county has 25 wards. And we established these institutions politically. But we have now narrowed down that we will close down 7. We will close down 7 of them and just remain with 25, 1 per ward, and equip them. Maybe you can do the same. There's no need for having 100 vocational training centers, surely, under a tree. Surely, 100. And sometimes, I'm sure sometimes you get shocked when you walk into a place expecting you're going to see an institution and you find it's just a cemetery kind of thing. We can reduce our institutions into per ward or even sub-county and equip them and stop lamenting, because we have lamented enough. The procedure of establishing a TVET institution under national government is you identify land, you construct, you equip, you employ the trainers, then you do what? You enroll the trainees. Isn't that what happens under these institutions? With counties, it's a bit the reverse. You are called to go and mobilize all the youth from the village and bring them under a tree. Then they have to come and find and count the students. And then they go to look for money. That takes about 6 months. By the time they come back, those students have disappeared. Can you start an institution using that approach? No. Maybe we can be guided. Because when we were opening these institutions at the advent of devolution, it was about resources in every developed corner of the country. And so people ended up opening as many as 100 vocational training centers in a county that has just 20 wards. No trainers, no funds, no infrastructure, no everything. Sorry for taking so long, but that is it. Thank you. God bless you.
We will have opportunity because it's still the county government time. And I want to mention that, Chair, during our first stakeholders engagement, we visited Trans Nzoia County and went to the governors. And we gave the governor the advisory to reduce the institutions. Today, I'm very happy to hear that they took the advisory serious. And now they are going down. I wanted us now to listen to the chief officers and CCM to wrap it up, because we have listened to the director, to the managers. Now at that level, at policy level, you can do one presentation or one can lead, then I don't know how you mmejipanga aje. Thank you.
Okay. Good morning, all. My name is Joyce Titus. I'm the CEC for Education, Training and Skills Development, Kitui County. I don't know where to begin, but I would say when you were tasked with coming up with a presentation on VTC, as county government, we came together, the directors, the CEOs, the CECs who were available, and we came up with some issues to know. In Kitui, we talk of when you have chicken and you hear them making noise. Tunasema, ni chao chuteti ya nguku. Ni nini inafanya, you know, where the problem is. So we came up and we identified areas where we have challenges. And I would say, I'll start by saying that from the presentation that we had yesterday from the TVETA team, the report that was tabled to us, it is clear that VTCs have significantly scored low in all the parameters. And this is what is making chicken make noise. And therefore, we sat down and we looked at where the problem is, cutting across all the counties in Kenya. And I would say that from that report, it is clear that there's a problem somewhere. And that is what we went and sat down and looked at. Before I proceed, I want to make a statement that for VTCs to survive and thrive, the national government must take deliberate and urgent interventions because VTCs are the foundation of grassroots skills development. Ninasoma polepole ndio isink. And as we are looking at the issues that are thorn in the flesh, those who have done their presentation have highlighted all the issues. And since we had our secretary who was taking down the issues, and we told him, you are the one to do the presentation. A lot has been said. I want to say, allow me to call him to give us a summary of the issues and the recommendations, because I feel some of the presenters have left out the recommendations. So, very briefly, I want us to invite our brother, who is the director in Baringo, Kip Koril. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, CEC. Indeed, I'm privileged to stand before you, being the secretary of the team that the CEC's head. My name is Kipkorir Changwony from Baringo County. And I want to just present the few recommendations that we had. Indeed, Waziri has said that VTC stands as the foundation of skills development for our youth. So, riding on the presentation by Director Lusweti, we have already highlighted the problems. The problems are myriad. There are very many, and we agree that indeed there is a problem at that level. So I want to just briefly summarize the recommendations based on the following areas. Number one, on funding. On funding, we all aware that there was the subsidized vocational training support grant that was being disseminated by the national government, and it has now been absorbed inside the county grants, whatever the funds in the county. Now, our request is this. Number one, that for us to be able to fund effectively the vocational training centers, we are asking that this fund be ring-fenced to allow that this actually reaches the intended beneficiary. That a policy, a deliberate policy is developed so that that fund actually reaches the intended beneficiary. So we are asking for ring-fencing of the same by use of a policy. Now, number two, we are aware that there is a lot of encroachment, and indeed the VTCs, if you look at the current curriculum, the CBE, after senior school, then you will find that, in fact, the rating of the senior school certificate is rated at level 3. Now, VTCs are supposed to, currently they are enrolling level 3 and level 4. Now, based on the future now, when assuming that we are going to enroll from the senior school, that means, one, that we are only left to enroll at level 4. TVCs are also enrolling at the same level. So our question is, what is the position of VTC in this space after senior school? It is either, one, we get merged into the TVC system, or we perish. So our appeal, one, is this, that there indeed should be a demarcation that national polytechnics, because the current system is that VTC is enrolling up to level 4. Then the TVC up to level 6. Then the national polytechnics up to level 7. The technical universities up to level 8 and beyond. Now, honestly, if everybody is coming down to level 4, then where is the position of the VTC? A policy should be developed to ensure that the VTCs shall continue to survive post the class 8 and the others. Because currently there is no trainee whom we are going to enroll before they reach senior school because of the 100% transition. You know, before we used to enroll possibly in class 8, another one the other way. But now we are looking at after CBE, what will happen. Alongside that one, we look at the question of Higher Education Loans Board, which has since it's actually being changed into Higher Education Funding Model. Now, this funding model is supposed to be funding higher education. And now, when a trainee gets into a VTC at level 4, the other trainee gets into a TVC at level 4, then the one in TVC is funded, the one in VTC is not funded, just like a director has already talked about. Now, what is the position of the VTC trainee who is not being funded by higher education, yet they have just exited the same system at senior school? Our recommendation is this: one, that the VTCs as they enroll at level 4, they also be allowed to enroll through the Kenya Universities and Colleges Central Placement Services, so that they can also be recognized to be able to be funded by the HEF model, which is now which currently is the Higher Education Loans Board. So, because the mandate of HELP is to fund higher education. Now, this is the same trainee who has exited senior school and now going into the other tertiary institutions. Our appeal is that all the VTCs be recognized at that level, because they will be training at level 4, assuming that they will not have been swallowed. The next issue that we talked about, I think Director had already talked about. I want to say the equipment, indeed, we are not lamenting, we are not here to lament, but rather we have already highlighted the problems. Now we are looking at the solutions. Now, indeed, you had the presentation by the VTC managers that we have obsolescence is great in terms of our equipment, tools and equipment. Now, the same thing has been said by Director, but now our appeal is, as national government is equipping TVCs and the national polytechnics with modern equipment which are now in line with what is available in the industry, so that we don't train, because we shall also be training at the same level, to remove bias, because these are also Kenyans, to remove a situation whereby we will have people training using other equipment and yet they are all required to be in the industry. A case in point, I'm looking at currently that we are going electric in vehicles, motorcycles that are already electric. Now, what is the position when we are still training a motor vehicle mechanic at the VTC and an automotive engineering person at the TVC and National Polytechnic? We are using the carburetor engine, yet we are already in electric. Modern equipment is not, actually it's time that we talk about modern equipment, but now national government, as they source this training equipment, I'm aware that there are institutions which have got very elaborate, very, very sophisticated current equipment in their institutions, that is now TVCs and national polytechnics. Now, this does not happen in VTCs. We are appealing that they get this training equipment, which is modern. The VTCs also get the same. Finally, I think the last one is, we are also appealing to TVET Authority that indeed, yes, this is a very good conference. We are having the CECs, we are having the CEOs, we are having the directors, and then we have the vocational training center managers and the others. I'm talking from the county perspective. There is a critical group that has been left out. That is the quality assurance and standards officers, who are actually the people who are on the ground doing the internal quality assurance, so that TVET Authority will come and do the external quality assurance. Possibly in the next forum, or we create a forum that we have the quality assurance and standards officers in all the counties be given induction on the same, so that we are reading from the same page. So that as we improve the equipment, as we deal with the trainers, we are also handling the quality assurance bit. So I want to, because I was a secretary, this is not my report, this is from the CECs. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you, Representative, for the CCs. If there's anything that is left out, Anybody that wants to add something, just in case he has left out something? All right, yes, Waziri.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning. Yeah, I am Gloria Monikombo, CC member, Department of Education, Libraries and Vocational Trainers from Taita Taveta County. I'm sorry, yesterday I left earlier, and colleagues CCs, I did not participate, of course, in that discussion, but I am part to it. And therefore, I would like to add something on the issue of obsolete equipment. The TVCs and maybe the national polytechnics around, of course, where we come from, if they could also open doors, to our VTCs, because I know they are well equipped, so that we have our learners maybe taking some lessons from there. At least they have a feel, of those machines. That is what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think at this juncture, if there's nobody that wants to add something, we'll want to break for our health break. Then when we come back, we'll be dealing with the private colleges presentations. We'll be dealing with the CATI presentations. I think those are the two groups that we have currently left with. And the county commissioner, Ngao? Is Ngao in here? Oh, okay. So we have those three cohorts that will be doing a presentation. When you watch something?
How many managers do we have? Maybe just by a show of hand. That is, this is just about maybe 20. And we have close to 1,000 and thereabout, 1,200 managers that would also have been able to attend this meeting. So that tells you how desperate those fellows are. They are not able to get into these meetings because of the funding aspect. How much are they missing? A lot. I think it's a challenge again, but it's just an addition.
Okay.
Just a word. I want to appreciate the presentation you made on our behalf. My name is Chacha, the County Director of Education for Migori County. I noticed from the invitation letter that was sent to us that it categorically said county chief officers and directors in charge of VTCs. And even the CCM members, it barred others. There was a list that was given whose, I think, audits were done in the last financial year that were only allowed to come here. Not anywhere in the letter did I see managers invited to come to this place. So the invitation procedures that you people gave were not very clear, and it even arrived late. No wonder I stand here as the only person coming from the entire Nyanza, unless there's somebody else who has come from the Nyanza regions. Secondly, I want to differ with you on one area from the presentation you made. Kindly do not close down VTEX. That one I will not support, because the idea of VTC training was anchored previously from the notion of village polytechnics. You see, a village is closer to the intended youth. The moment you close some, you will be creating scenarios of having a VTech in a sub-county that may not be very accessible to our youths who may want to day school. So alternatively, what I will ask, in the spirit of your governor supporting vocational training, even if it's progressively, retain all of them, but then equip them progressively, but let us not kill any of our already established vocational training. In Migori County, for example, I want to also say my governor, His Excellency Dr. Ochilo Mbogo Ayako, is passionate about vocational training colleges. We have 23. The 24th one is being in the process of being established. The TVETA team visited us recently, went through it. We are still waiting for the report they will give about that. Our governor gives a capitation of about 20 million. That translates to around 3,600 and something per learner per year. It's not very sufficient, but we are still in the process of engagement in the manner of showing them the reality of why we need more funding. And I think from the indicators I'm getting, he's very positive, even though the policy documents we were looking for, the ring fencing of the previous capitation that used to come from the national government should also come into play. So kindly, on that one I want to beg, let us not close. Finally, devolution must be protected. We should not allow at any instance the encroachment by powerful national government TTIs into our VTECs. When you explain, let them identify land, and this land preferably should be away from our vocational trainings. Because when they do it again close there, ours dies, theirs grows. The CCM member for Taita Taveta, you did say that we allow our students to use the national government facilities. I am worried because you take them there for 1, 2, 3 learning sessions, you will not have them in your institutions again. They will remain there. And the MPs give them bursaries. Sometimes they come, give them bursaries, and then tell them you can only qualify for this bursary if you move away from the VTECs and then join the national government TTIs. It's really affecting us, I think, and I want to support that stakeholders meeting around VTCs, TVETA, CCM members, Council of Governors, Chief Officers, and Direct. We need to sit on our own and then tell each other the truth about where problems are and then how we can forge ahead as a county government mandate. Otherwise, as it is now, VTCs are not working. They are literally not working. Even some of the counties saying they are working, they are only trying to make it look like they are working, but they are not working. Demarcation, kindly, if you do not allow VTECs to be the only institutions that will admit level 4 after grade 12 for the CBC new curriculum, if you do not protect VTECs to be the only institutions allowed to handle that level, if you still allow the TVCs, national polytechnics, and universities still to do that, then I will openly tell you here that we are headed for closure of all our VTECs in the country. A policy has to be developed that will strictly, a university offering master's programs, PhD, degrees, what business do they have still coming back to offer artisan? I think that is an abuse on us because we are desperate and we are weak. Let us be protected, otherwise devolution mandate on education will be seriously be eroded and may be terminated if you are not very careful. That was my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. He had said he wanted to do a word, but it is an interesting discourse. I think we don't want to leave out anyone. You asked something?
Seemingly want to leave me behind. I mentioned my name yesterday, Penina from Baringo County. I couldn't agree more, especially the officer from Migori, because I wanted to speak from the perspective of devolution. That the structures that were designed from the VTCs all the way to National Polytechnic was just to spur skills development from the grassroots. You could realize there was also issue of home craft centers to the village polytechnics that has been now called VTECs, to the TVCs, going all the way to national. Can we structure? And I agree 100% about the discussion, the multi-sectoral discussion. Let us talk on how do we structure the TVETs in Kenya. How do we structure the institutions that builds skills? Otherwise, if you create an environment of competition instead of complementary, you will not succeed. It will be the fahali wakipigana, nyasi umea. Na nyasi hapa ni county, nyasi actually are the citizens who are the children of Kenya. Talk about the funding model, what we have discussed. You know, wananchi can't understand why a child in VTC cannot get a loan. Imagine it's a loan, it's not even a grant. Just because that institution is labeled county government or defunct function. I thought loans can be given at any level of government, as much as we look at the parameters and also look at the factors, if those children are able to pay back, just that they are like other students in other institutions. Something else is to protect devolution. I am part, or I'm one of the victims, or someone, I'm struggling to protect our VTCs. There is this wave, and you know, people buy from or borrow from one another one. Maybe one MP says, I converted mine, now it's a national polytechnic. So there is this wave of national government members of National Assembly. They are flocking into our VTCs and they want to convert. If there is resources enough, I thought devolution is taking services closer to Mwananchi. And I think there are other areas without those centers, without those institutions. Can they go and scratch the ground and build a structure in the name of a national polytechnic or whatever you want? You cannot thrive by killing another institution for another one to thrive. Just like a candle, you cannot dim another one, light another one and think it will be more brighter. You put another candle so that the room becomes brighter. So I would really, from TVETA point of view, we can encourage that wherever we get resources, let's bring more to other parts of the county so that every corner benefits instead of coming and putting other resources on top of other resources. There is also this element of, it's going out of my mind. But then I am not of this opinion of doing away with VTCs or TTR. I also think there is a process which should be coming through another discussion of even if it is supposed to be converted, let it not be subjected to politics. And also I call upon professionals. The role of professionals in this country is not magnified as it though it's supposed to be. And we are giving precedents, or we are giving politics to take the center stage. And you know, politics, yes, politics is good, but sometimes they can overrun our professional procedures. And I could hear Waziri, Director Trans Nzoia talk about very pertinent issues. So if the technical team amplifies their voice and initiate this discussion around TVETs, around skills in Kenya, skills development. We are talking about skills development for international market. And we are still talking about very small issues that are really affecting us at the grassroots level. So TVETA, I take the last bit of authority. Authority means you have an oversight role, because looking at curriculum development, accreditation, you have a role from national government up to the village polytechnics or the VTECs. When somebody mentioned about you want you to help us, I am sure someone was asking himself or herself, sasa si tutaingilia aje maneno ya county government. You have a role, because if you have a role in giving, in coming to do audit, why can't you share the audit report and use that very report to reprimand how things are done in county government. You can still reprimand by doing a report and even having a meeting with our county bosses and say we cannot oversee such things. You know, it will give some strength to us, because sometimes you try to put some points, but then when it comes from the authority, just the way Kenya Revenue Authority, you have authority. So I want you to use that part of authority and try to put sense to this space of TVET in Kenya. I don't want to say much. I just felt like this is a very, very important session. I am just 4 months in this department. If I say I'm still learning, I think I have learned a lot. And I think we really need that meeting. The meeting between Ministry of Education, TVETA Authority, or TVETA, Council of Governors. I think there is a secretariat in charge of this. I have never met them. And also counties. Can we talk about the child of Kenya? Without looking at these small things that this is not my function. It is our function because we are in government and we are supposed to serve wananchi at all levels without looking at those very small imaginary boundaries. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. I think I want us to close at that point for now. When we come back, we'll give a chance to our board members also to have their own some reactions. Then we get into the next cohorts. You are representing which group? Somebody wants? Which group? Chief officers. Okay. Do we have more time? Phoebe, our tea is ready. It's ready. So maybe when you come back, you can yeah. Yes. Three. They conclude, eh? Okay. So. Okay.
I'm Joseph Muridi from Kirinyaga. I wish to make my colleagues not feel too much threatened by the issue of encroachment and use of public land. There was a time, my chief officer is here, is a witness. The area MP of a certain constituency did public participation that they wanted to encroach and take over one of our VTCs. But he was not well aware of what the law dictates. You should know that even before that conversion comes, if they want to use the land, unless your governor allows it, it can never happen. Because there is the PDP, Party Development Plan, or the scheme plan. They must, it is under the law of Kenya, they must pass through the county assemblies. So if your governor is not ready for takeover, don't worry. Unless he or she gives authority for the takeover, it cannot happen. In fact, that is something that cannot make me spend a sleepless night. Tunaelewana? Thank you.
Okay. I'm not really contributing as it were, but I just want to make a small comment that we have given very strong points from all perspectives. I just wanted to ask the TVETA authority, maybe when you come back, you tell us what kind of constraints you also could be having, because my worry is that whatever suggestions we've given, will they really reach the place they need to reach? Because somebody commented, COG invites you, you irritated. You invite COG, they are likely not to come. So, and I was asking myself, if I'm to go suggest to my governor that we need to close, for example, some of the VTCs, and I tell you here, I'll go suggest, chances are I'll be lying to you. Not unless I'm very bold to go and really, present these situations. Will whatever we are saying here really reach where it needs to reach? Are you able to communicate to those who are supposed to be communicated strongly, like the chairman here has given it strongly? Are you facing some constraints? Are you able to reach COG? Are you able to reach some of these where these decisions are made? That's my concern, because we could be pumping you here with a lot of things, and yourself, and you come and tell us here, yes, you look at them. You know, the counties, we are used to managing situations, managing people, so that you close over. Then we'll come back here after a year, and the same problems are, because some of these issues, they require a lot of boldness. You know, it's better that someone hears, someone says, mawe umesikia. Na ukinyamaza umesikia. Some of these things require a lot of boldness. That issue of funding, if governors were here, I know many of them right now would be on fire, that you are telling us to return back the conditional grants. Issues of policies, issues where COG needs to help us to reach those governors. I think it was out of boldness. What constraints would you be facing?
Thank you. Now, I would like to look at the report which was given here, and it was said those centers which scores below 36, they should be closed. When I look at the report which was given to my county government, about 3 centers scored below that. That does not mean it's only Tana River with such kind of centers. There are very many. In fact, I want to say could be more than a quarter of the VTCs, which are like the 3 of mine, which was scoring below that 6. Now, at the county government, the attitude there is VTCs do not have a place in the community. I give example. You find, I'm not talking about my county, but I'm giving an example. Education budget is about 600 million. Out of 600 million, 400 million goes to the bursary. And then look at the other one, that is 4 minus 6, 2 million. 2 million inatengewa education. And you know education constitutes of ECD and the VTCs. When you look at that bursary which has been issued, a child in VTC is only given 3,500. The one in TVET, that the TTI, National Polytechnic, and what have you, are given 10,000 plus. Come to capitation, they don't even give capitation. What does it mean? They have no place for these VTCs. So, how do we make these governors understand that these institutions belong to them? Because they are trying to service the national government function, neglecting their own functions. So how do we make them understand that these are your institutions, and if you don't support them, you people, you have authority. Go and close those ones which do not meet the thresholds, so that they are able to understand that these are our functions and let us work on it. If you don't set standards, it's the TVET authority to set standards. You set standards that for you to have a VTC, this is the minimum we want from you. If you don't meet them, close them.
Asante. I know our board members will be able to tell us something about that. So when we come back, we'll, as I already said, we'll give a chance to our members of the board to make reactions. Then we get into the next cohorts. We'll take how many minutes? 20 minutes or 30? For 20 minutes, so that because of time, let's take it very fast, have it very fast, then we come back after 20 minutes. Thank you so much, and God bless the tea. Asante.